Welcome to Daai Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. Coming up in today's show, Indonesia Tzu Chi volunteers held their 91st free clinic, helping a total of 1,703 patients. We visit a sleep center in Taiwan to learn exercises that can help us get a good night's sleep. And we investigate why the new definition of re-frac-tory epilepsy is reducing patients' disability benefits in Taiwan. In Indonesia, team of doctors and the local police hospital joined hands and held the 91st free clinic in Kermajati, East Jakarta. This time, the event is joined by 100 team of doctors from 3 different countries, helping a total of 1,703 patients.
Here at the police hospital in East Jakarta's Kermajati, 100 team of doctors show up to provide necessary medical services to patients in need.
At this free clinic, we pair up with Singapore TIMA and Malaysia TIMA. Plastic surgeons are also here to serve. Patients can come here to treat cataracts, hernias, cleft palates, and undergo microsurgery.
Sumbing dan minor.
Thanks to Tzu Chi's free clinic, this little boy finally has a chance to undergo plastic surgery to treat his right hand, which was burned by boiling water when he was 8 months old.
I felt ashamed with my right hand like that. My friends often laugh at me. The hand is weak. It was floppy like dragging something on the ground.
Oh, ini tangannya cacat, kagak bisa dibuka.
He never complained, but when he was laughed at by his friends, he would cry and tell me the situation. I told him to endure their ridicule. One day, someone will lend us a helping hand.
Volunteer Sumaro also show up to help at the free clinic as he once received medical treatment from TIMA.
Prior to the 2010 Spring Festival, I underwent cataract surgery provided by Tzu Chi at the Serpong Hospital.
Seeing how Tzu Chi volunteers safeguard the health of local residents and inspire kindness, local police officers also joined the cause by adopting bamboo coin banks.
To safeguard the health of the sick and poor, Paraguay Tzu Chi volunteers held a free clinic in the city of Asunción, helping some 500 patients. But first, let's go to Guatemala, where Tzu Chi volunteers are holding a free clinic in the remote area of Plan Grande, Palencia. To safeguard the health of residents living in the remote area of the Plan Grande, Palencia, Guatemala, Tzu Chi volunteers are holding a free clinic at the local school.
Tzu Chi volunteers and the medical team have provided tremendous help to the residents of Plan Grande, Palencia. Many people have already received medical treatment and advice from doctors. Thank you all for coming here today.
Despite the long wait to see a doctor, local residents wait patiently for their turn. This time, the free clinic offers medical services from 3 different departments. In just one day, the free clinic saw approximately 500 patients. Meanwhile, in Asunción, Paraguay, local volunteers attentively measure patients' blood pressures before they see a doctor. This time, the free clinic is held at a local deaf-mute school. A sister is also present to help the deaf-mute communicate with the doctors. Other than providing medication for patients, Tzu Chi volunteers also thoughtfully put some cards in each prescription bag in hopes that the master's words of wisdom can inspire others to think good thoughts. In the Philippines, as electricity is very expensive, some residents in slum areas can only access electricity through illegal connections, which often leads to electrical fires. Recently, local Tzu Chi volunteers arrived at 2 different cities to distribute aid supplies and rice to survivors of 2 recent electrical fires. This is a section of the city of Malabon, Philippines. A recent fire in the area engulfed 55 houses, leaving 70 households without roofs over their heads. Today, local Tzu Chi volunteers are here to survey the disaster zone and provide emotional support for the survivors. The volunteers also held an aid distribution at the local temporary shelter. Fire survivor Estela Vivas, who is 4 months pregnant, says she was very happy to receive a straw mat from Tzu Chi. Otherwise, her children would have to sleep on cardboard.
We needed the straw mats the most because my children have been sleeping on the floor.
In 2007, Tzu Chi volunteers once held a relief distribution in the area in the aftermath of severe flooding. This time, the volunteers are here again to provide love and care for fire victims.
I received aid supplies and emotional support from the volunteers. These will help us move on with our lives.
In the Philippines, as the power industry is privately owned, electricity is very expensive. Since most of the residents cannot afford electricity, stealing power is very common, which often leads to electrical fires. In the city of Manila, an electrical fire left 69 households homeless. Luckily, no casualties were reported.
This is my first time encountering a fire and I'm very sad, but I am happy that I met the volunteers.
Children scavenge what's left of their homes, but these electric wires are the only thing that survived the merciless fire. To help fire survivors move on with their lives, Tzu Chi volunteers arrive with aid supplies and rice.
I have learned to love and share everything with my neighbors.
Inspired by Tzu Chi's spirit, fire survivors learn to have a grateful heart.
I want to reciprocate the volunteers' love and care, so I hope to become a volunteer in the future.
In the aftermath of the disaster, fire survivors are inspired to cherish what is truly precious in their lives. In China, to help needy residents in Jingyuan County, Gansu Province, Tzu Chi volunteers not only build water cellars but also dye a village, with the first phase completed and the second one well underway. Recently, Tzu Chi volunteers visit the area once again to check on the progress of the construction and visit the villagers.
The years of continuous drought has left Gansu Province's Jingyuan County desolate and barren. In May, the county only experienced 23 millimeters of rainfall. However, evapotranspiration was as high as 1,600 millimeters. Those young and fit left the mountains to make a living, leaving behind the elderly and frail to fend for themselves. In his 60s, Zhang Lingnan could understand why his daughter-in-law took off after his son passed away, leaving her 5 children in Zhang's care. Already a grandmother at 53, Chen Huaihui watches her home and fields all day long, awaiting her husband and son's return from the city. The volunteer's visit lights up her face with a smile. Having married and lived here since she was 18, Grandma Tang has never left the village. Bringing out her homemade steam buns to share with her visitors, this taste can only be found in the mountains.
It's here. These are the only steam buns we have. It's delicious. Have a try.
Over the years, Tzu Chi volunteers have taken steps to improve the lives of these villagers. Liu Yanqing brings out the kilt she received from Tzu Chi during a winter aid distribution and says, as this is her best kilt, she is saving them for her guests.
You gave me these. They're still new and haven't been used yet. I am saving them for later.
Gao Guorui has carefully stowed away the kilts from Tzu Chi. She says she is saving them for when her children get married in the future. A life full of hardship and poverty, all she has to offer are the things given to her by Tzu Chi. Volunteers hope that once these villages are relocated to better surroundings, life will get better for these villagers.
For those that have trouble falling asleep, what solutions outside of taking sleeping aids are available? In today's report, we visit a sleep center in Taiwan to learn some exercises that can help us get a good night's sleep.
I don't sleep so well and usually go to bed late. Often I'm still thinking of work as I get ready for bed.
Facing work pressures, different shifts, and a perfectionist nature, it is not easy for Mr. Wang to get a good night's sleep. In the end, he chose to visit the Xinguang Sleep Center for answers.
Some people's minds will become noisy when they are under a lot of stress, but others won't think of anything in particular. Perhaps what happened yesterday will what will happen tomorrow. None of this is the result of stress, but it still keeps their minds going round and round.
Wearing testing equipment that monitors his psychological state, Mr. Wang is here today to learn how to relax his body before going to bed.
感觉一下你的身体好像一颗气球。好，吸气的时候，感觉好像气球胀大，充满力量。吐气，放松。那大部分的人做了大概1-2个礼拜。
For most, they start to see results in 1 to 2 weeks.
Each person handles pressure in a different way, and some may have trouble falling asleep even after relaxing.
If you find you can't sleep, you need to get up and go through the process of getting your body and mind ready for bed once again.
But how does one actually get the body ready for bed? The key is to relax, and there are many exercises that can help you do just that.
So we first tense up our shoulders as much as possible. Then we ask our patients to close their eyes and remember this feeling. Next, slowly let go of the tension. The slower, the better. And then feel how it is to have relaxed shoulders.
Before going to bed, the most important thing is to relax the body from top to bottom.
For example, we can put our hands on the shoulders and bring the elbows together, and then lift the elbows upwards a bit. The hands might sometimes start to shake, and that is because the muscles here are being tensed. Once tense, slowly relax. Relax as much as possible. And then feel how your hands and perhaps your shoulders and upper arms are more relaxed. The key is to relax.
Using such simple movements, those suffering from insomnia can reduce their reliance on sleeping pills or even give them up entirely.
The more relaxed you are, the better. Close your eyes and try to feel how your entire surrounding seems more relaxed. Doing this, you will feel how your body can relax more and more.
Another key is not to lounge in bed after waking up in the morning.
太阳光可以告诉我们的大脑。
Light tells our brain to reset our biological clock. The light says to us that we should get up and stop sleeping.
By getting up and going to bed at the right times, while learning how to combat tension in the body, everyone can enjoy the blessings of a good night's sleep on a regular basis.
In Taiwan's Miaoli, 4th grader Wu Zhenyi accidentally got tangled in curtain cords and later passed away. Following the accident, Tzu Chi volunteers provided emotional support to Wu's family and encouraged his parents to donate his organs to help more people.
These photos show how energetic Wu Zhenyi used to be. At his memorial, his teachers show up to commemorate her former student.
From the 1st to the 4th grade, he was always among the top 6 in his class. He was an outstanding student and would voluntarily help his classmates with their homework.
Thinking of their fond memories of Wu, his classmates are all brought to tears.
When we didn't know how to do homework, he would help us.
Thank you, Zhenyi. May you rest in peace.
A household accident took this little boy's life.
His family said he was tangled up in curtain cords when he was jumping around on the bed. Though he was later sent to the hospital, unfortunately he didn't make it.
Other than his previous achievements, Wu has another chance to continue his accomplishments, as his parents have decided to donate his organs to help more needy people.
The Tzu Chi sister told me that organ donation is a way to give back to society, as there are some kids out there who need organ transplant. Zhenyi may have left this world, yet his spirit will still continue in another form.
We know it's a tough decision, but we hoped he would donate his boy's organs to extend the love. Organ donation is still rare in rural areas, so after the accident happened, I accompanied him day and night.
Zhen Yi's parents, while reluctant to part with their son, in the end allowed him to become an organ donor to save future lives.
Last July, Taiwan's Department of Health modified its definition of refractory epilepsy, which differs from regular epilepsy. And with this change, it greatly reduces patients' disability benefits. Here's more.
This is from my elementary school days. Because I enrolled in a private school, only the top 10 in the class received this Excellent Conduct Award.
Zheng Youling used to be the head of her class until 5th grade when suddenly her epilepsy surfaced. Her grades took a dive, but her teachers thought she was just being lazy.
Back when I was in junior high, every morning when we had our morning quiz, my teacher said my lips would just turn white while my eyes rolled upward. My hands just lay there lifeless on the desk. I looked like I was completely spaced out. Even when my teacher called out to me, I did not respond.
A hospital visit revealed that due to academic pressure, the neurons in Youling's brain went haywire, which led to seizures. Since receiving an operation, for the past 20 years, Youling has only had 4 small episodes. However, instead of leaving the epilepsy circle, she decided to stick around and form the Epilepsy Patients Association.
The truth is, though those suffering refractory epilepsy may have the booklet for the disabled, they tell me that when they go to the Disabled Persons Employment Services to register for jobs, employers rather hire those with physical disabilities than those with epilepsy.
As Youling fights for the rights of epilepsy patients, she also has to take care of her mother, who suffers Parkinson's disease. Still, Youling is considered fortunate, as she holds a job unlike many epilepsy sufferers. In July of 2012, the Department of Health modified the standards through which epilepsy patients may qualify for disability benefits. Instead of just more than 2 seizures per month, now a seizure has to last for more than 30 minutes, which is potentially life-threatening.
A seizure that lasts 30 minutes? That's impossible. Basically, when she has a seizure, she cannot breathe. If a person doesn't breathe for 30 minutes, they would be dead already.
Besides the financial support, the disability benefits ensure epilepsy patients' rights to employment. Since epilepsy patient Xiao Yu has her disability card, she can receive training at a special education center. Though it may not be a proper job, having something to do is very important to her.
你的工作是做什么事？
长布画的。
哦，把它裁切吗？
切的是别人。
哦，你是负责画出那个线。
给他们画。
This helps slow down the progress of her condition because she continues to receive outside stimulation.
Due to the many petitions submitted by epilepsy patients, the Department of Health aims to restore the old standards by the end of June, thus putting Xiao Yu's mom at ease.
所以他每天会跟你讲我要去上班。
对，上班。
She will tell you every day that she is going to work. She is very happy to be able to work. I think to children who suffer this type of illness, a job is a reassurance and helps provide a sense of accomplishment. That is very important to her. It's like the doctor said, she won't develop depression this way.
Next, we meet Zhang Shoudi from Kaohsiung, Taiwan, who was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy when he was 8 years old. Furthermore, before he turned 18, Zhang lost his entire family. However, he has managed to keep a positive outlook on life.
This is Zhang Shoudi, who was diagnosed with spinal muscular atrophy at the age of 8. Wheelchair-ridden by 13, Zhang never once gave up on himself. Instead, he is a regular here, not only bringing smiles and laughter to these mentally handicapped children,
I hope our government can modify the early intervention regulation to incorporate the 0 to 6-year-old into the national education system.
When you see a disadvantaged person taking care of another disadvantaged person, it's remarkable.
Having undergone tracheotomy, Zhang has to suction out the mucus in his tracheotomy tube constantly. Yet life didn't just present him with one challenge. Zhang lost his parents, brother and grandmother before he turned 18.
If we don't focus on the bad, everything else is in fact wonderful.
Facing his circumstances with a smile, Zhang encourages others to seize every moment.
Happiness doesn't weigh anything when it's in your hands, but only when it's gone do we realize what we had, but by then it's too late.
Knowing that his life could come to an end at any time, Zhang Shoude believes that so long as he is still breathing, there is always hope, and therefore he continues to live out the colorful chapters of his life.
Lately, Taipei City's Neihu District Tzu Chi recycling station has turned into a classroom educating on the international stage with visitors from around the globe. After their visit, everyone walks away with not only valuable lessons on recycling, but also respect for the recycling volunteers.
Hearing that a volunteer is 80 years old is actually a common occurrence at a Tzu Chi recycling station.
These volunteers have not only been here 1 or 2 weeks, they have been doing this for over a decade.
Management committee members from Guangzhou City, China are here visiting Taiwan and are impressed with the dedication of these recycling volunteers.
When I return to Guangzhou, I hope to share the enthusiasm and dedication of these volunteers with our local volunteers, as there are many back home that do regular volunteer work as well.
Other visitors to the recycling station include reporters, scholars, and entrepreneurs from Beijing, China. One professor says it's easy to talk about protecting the planet, but actualizing it like the recycling volunteers do is another story.
We recycle, but to go the extra step of removing the caps of the bottles is generally not carried out. So if we can spread these ideas, it will help recycling efforts.
You will feel that recycling is deeply intertwined with your life, as well your families' and friends' lives. If you do not start practicing recycling, then it will really affect the health of the next generation.
Students from Hong Kong's Christ's College also paid a visit, hoping to take home conservation ideals.
I think by coming here to the recycling station has taught me a lot. For example, I learned plastic bags and the bottles can all be recycled. I think everyone should do their part to help.
Pollution is very serious right now, so we should try to reduce the amount of pollution we cause, like reducing the use of plastics. I hope more people realize that protecting the environment is very important to this planet.
Tzu Chi Recycling Station is a living classroom with recycling volunteers as its teachers, educating the public on the importance of protecting our planet.
We go to Kaohsiung City, Taiwan at the end of the show. As the Jidong Elementary School in Meinong District is under reconstruction, students have no classroom to continue their schooling. Thankfully, with the help of Tzu Chi, students can temporarily study inside prefabricated classrooms. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for tuning in. Goodbye.